Hey everyone, welcome to Zozo Anime. I'm your host, the one and only King freaking Kansas, here to bring you a review. In particular, Netflix's recently released The Ribbon Hero. It's about an hour and maybe 49 minutes, something like that, guys. It just recently came out on August 8th. It's streaming on their platform, so go check it out. So, watch the trailer for this. Was a little bit excited. Very intrigued. The style and the artwork or the look of it is awesome. Like I'm telling you right now, guys, aesthetically, beautiful. It's beautifully done, drawn, animated. It looks damn good. Some of the best stuff I've seen. You know, it's up there with Suzumi and all that stuff. Story-wise, it was okay. It wasn't the greatest. The way I can kind of describe this all to you guys without giving too much and spoiling everything on you guys, it kind of reminded me or had elements kind of like a glorified Sailor Moon mixed with a whole bunch of other anime stuff put in together. It basically follows the story of this princess from a kingdom, because it felt like Disney to me. I think it was called let me get it right because I don't want to. Silverland Princess, okay? Her name was Sapphire, and miraculously, through events and stuff like that, she couldn't save her kingdom. Her mother, everybody perished, so she pretty much had to, leave. Her mother saved her life, because the way it worked out, we find out later that certain chosen people from each thing were chosen to be sacrificed to this Ash King that had these... Man, I want to call them like sandworms. If you guys watch Kevin Bacon's films, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It looked like these creatures that would kind of like infiltrate and kind of cause damage and suck the energy for this evil thing called the Ash King. And it was a big glorified thing with a whole bunch that looked like lights and shit like that when we actually see what it is at the end. I was expecting some badass human being or something like that. Some alien of some sort of a nature that talks and stuff. No, not even close. Instead, we had a kind of like a guy who reminded me of the Emperor from Star Wars, who's from the Gold Kingdom or whatever it was called, Goldland. And there was a guy you kind of met, kind of felt like the villain, but not the villain, but he was kind of like the bad guy who kind of like oppressed the people there. And he was going to, do pretty much the same thing. When this thing apparently came here, if he didn't do the bidding of this Ash King, it would pretty much destroy his kingdom and stuff. And he had a whole bunch of, it looks like kids, and he didn't want the kids sacrificed. So, this is the only part that didn't make sense. So you had him who was kind of like this hard-ass, badass guy, but then he comes across the princess, Sapphire, who has these amazing abilities that, hey, just maybe they can turn the tides and free themselves from, from being a slave and doing the bidding of this Ash King and strike back. But of course, the Emperor, who he worked for, didn't like it. So the big finale, big fight scene at the end, guys, was pretty much not a letdown, but predictable. The fight scenes were crazy. When I mean crazy, like bouncing all over the place, ribbons, her turning kind of like the way Sailor Moon turns, the same kind of thing to me, but just glorified, like anteed up a little bit. Sure, there's some sub characters and stuff like that. Like she meets this girl Pine. That she's ended up wandering the streets, at the beginning when she leaves her homeland for 7 years, apparently, and she's going place to place, just, struggling to survive by eating anything and whatever. Comes across this girl called Pine. She's a little bit more well off. She takes her back, and she's like chowing down, like how you saw in Sailor Moon, like big Usagi's kind of like, scarfing things down. Same kind of mentality here. Just like I said, you can see where they borrowed elements there, guys. 100%. If you're a Sailor Moon fan, you're going to notice it across the wall. And then meeting up a bunch of misfits that she's working for at some crystal mine, because they need the crystals to give things to these creatures so they don't get eaten alive. And then when they do, they sacrifice, and it takes a part of their energy and all that, And even the wacky planet that she ends up going through to this thing with a whole bunch, it looked like snow basically, with a whole bunch that looked like eyeballs, but it wasn't. That she had to go into their world, and that kind of world looked pretty cool. Like I'm telling you, this thing is beautifully, gorgeously done. Like, storyline and whatever. I kind of expect she was going to save the day and come, almost die in this thing, like every kind of superhero type film does. But she defeats the Ash King, eventually. Of course, oh my gosh, she's about to die, but then she gets a little bit of help, and then that gives her a boost, and then she's okay, and then I'm telling you, things like that, guys. But overall, much better than what I thought. I know I was rambling a little bit, but would I tell you guys to check it out, or do you have to check it out? Probably not. If you're just curious, check it out. I didn't regret watching it, but I wouldn't buy it 100%. But it was a good attempt of an anime film. It was okay. It was enjoyable. Not to the point that, oh my God, you have to see this. If not, you're a tool kind of thing. No. So, okay, guys, that's my official The Ribbon Hero anime film review. Like, share, and subscribe. Check out my other Volume 4 reviews. They're going to be coming your way after this. Hopefully, we're going to get one more movie coming your way. And then, of course, I'm going to be going bonkers with TV anime series and season reviews. That's going to be coming your way in the next several months. So until then, be the hell good. Stay off this king's throne. I'll see you guys where? Right here on Zozo Anime.